What's up? Welcome to the Daily Fight. My name is Robyn and I'm your host. And today we have a special guest, Jaime Diehl. She is Tampa Bay's hottest fashion stylist. If you are not already following her on Instagram, we're just going to start right there. I throw it out right at the beginning, Jaime. I don't even mess around. Go follow her on Instagram at Jaime Diehl. It's Jaime Diehl, right? Right on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. Jaime Diehl style. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I just cut right to it. Got it. Okay, we're going to put that down in the show notes, guys. But she has been a fashion stylist for more than 10 years, and I'm super excited to speak with her today because she's bringing in the psychology and the mindset and just the conviction behind how we view ourselves, how we think of ourselves as women, how we wear ourselves from the inside out. And she's on my list to hire her as my own personal stylist in 2025. And I'm doing this because, as you guys know that follow along with the Daily Fight, this is about the struggle and the rise into your future self and what we're doing to become and unbecome as we fight, question, and surrender ourselves in entrepreneurship, in business, in our dreams, in our goals, in our marriages, in our relationships, in our bank accounts, in our bodies, in our health, in our churches, in our communities, and absolutely everything that we do. We bring our energy, and that's a fight. And you guys know that follow me. We're either fighting for the old, we're fighting for the same, or we're fighting for the new. And that's scary, and it's ugly, and it's hard. So we are bringing an unfiltered, very raw and real discussion today. We have not planned this out. This is totally just going to be a flow conversation. We're going to get to know Jaime. And I specifically brought her on because I like what she's doing for women in the community. She is our local TV fashion stylist. She's on TV. She's a mom. She's a wife. I'm pretty sure she travels quite a bit. She's into sports. I think you got a dog. Do you have a dog? Is there a dog in the picture? Okay, there's a dog. I've done my homework, Jaime.
Speaking of sports, she's named for our beloved Philadelphia Phillies, Bryce Harper. So yeah, you're hitting like all the nuggets about me.
Okay. She's your background is in psychology and mental health, and we're going to go right there because your background was actually in mental health counseling, and you spent most of your career in mental health counseling. And there came a time where you just decided, I'm done. I'm out of here and I'm going to release a different life and I'm going to fight for my future self, which is what we're talking about today. So I want you to, we're just going to go right into the story and then we'll kind of backtrack and digress into who you are. But tell me about that moment when you were like, I'm out of here, maybe good, bad, or ugly, but I'm out of here. This is what I really want to do with my life. And you just uncaged the badass inside of you. And you went full time into being this fashionista, fashion stylist, the badass that you are today. Tell me about that moment.
I would love to. So I think it was a series of little baby moments that become a moment, right? One of those things that say like, it happened overnight, but it took 10 years to happen overnight, right? So
overnight success.
10 and 10 of my career right now. I'm almost on entering my 10th year of styling. I was in community mental health for 10 years. So the part in between where the pivot came along was actually, I really have a lot of pride in what I did for 10 years. I worked in the homes for 10 years of really like disenfranchised communities, trying to help children at risk, putting families, back together who had been through like just major life stories, right? And some of the challenges and transformations that I'm just so proud of that 10 years. And then once the kids came along, it was my plan and my choice and my desire to stay home with them. And so after a few years, and now they're 15 and 16 now, this was back in 2008. It was time to, I was like, okay, I'm ready to work again. I'm going to do some things. I was chasing some creative passions on the side. And I thought, styling is something I'm already naturally doing. Even when I did not have visions of becoming a personal stylist, I was complimented on for my outfits. I was helping coworkers. I was helping friends and family. That typical story, like I was just doing it, but it was the natural fun thing that came to me. And all of a sudden I thought, well, styling is a gig, Regular women are hiring personal stylists. And then here comes the challenge. It was like, well, can I do that? I'm known as a therapist. I'm known as a community mental health worker. Who am I to just switch and all of a sudden become a stylist? Is this even noble anyway? I did something I'm so proud of for 10 years. Is it frivolous to just turn into a fashion stylist? So all of these things that I had to battle, but the thing that helped make the pivot was the constant reminder, like, it's okay. I can do what I want to do. I'm not doing a bad thing by not returning to this very noble career I had for 10 years. Like, this is okay. You can see what happens if you chase your dreams.
Oh, you're lighting me up with goosebumps. Yeah. Who am I to do this? Can I do this? I've spent all these years doing this other thing. Like, you've just hit the head on the nail for everything of what it means to really like release that life inside and step into the unknown. Right. So you did it. You did it.
Yes. So I think you're going to find this really interesting. So my path into personal styling was the opposite of any stylist I knew. So if you happen to remember, well, it's still around, but it was growing like crazy back in 2014, Stitch Fix. So that's your subscription box company where they send you pieces and you keep what you love and you send back what you don't love. That company was growing like crazy in 2013, 14, 15, that they were like putting out these national like pleas for stylists. And they happen to have, this is when I was still living in Pennsylvania, because they don't hire in every state. So they happen to have an office there. They were taking interviews from Pennsylvanians. And I thought, I'm taking this as my cue in. I don't care if I don't have a certification yet. Eventually I got one. I don't care. I'm going to try. Why not try for the freaking interview? And because this is what happens when you just chase the little universal pings you get, I fought my way in there. I was like, listen, I'm not a stylist per se yet. I have this creative thing where I do it on the side for free anyway. I have this huge background in community mental health. So like, I could be a really good stylist for your customers, right? Give me a chance. So they did. So they did a virtual interview process. And then they put me through this process where you were like fake styling. You were styling fake profiles. You know, they've got to like filter their leads. And then I went through the in-person interview process and it was amazing. But here's the thing about where there was a shift. I was listening to my friends who were like, this is so great that you're doing so good at Stitch Fix. I was there for 5 years. I became a senior stylist. I was on the luxury team. They were very heavy data collectors at the time, and they hold their stylists to the standards. I was always performing at the top 20% and I thought, oh, great, like all this validation, but it was still so like I was being kept small because you only get one little note in each box to talk to your client. And they were sharing things like, you sent me this, like the best pair of jeans I've ever had in my life. And I felt like a rock star on date night. You sent me this dress that like helped pick me up off the floor and get back to work after a miscarriage. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, I'm really connecting with like all of these strangers. Why am I hiding behind this job at Stitch Fix? You didn't even know I was going to share this because I didn't even tell you about this in my history. And then you listen to your friends who are like, why are you playing small, hiding behind that little Stitch Fix job? Get out there and start your own business. So eventually I did. And then I did all the things that women do to themselves, which is, well, and this is, Robyn, this is after being really successful at Stitch Fix. I was like, well, I don't have a certification. So I went to the blah, blah, blah school of style for this and got a certification. And then I did like the online, like New York fashion. Then I did that certificate. And then I did and every little certificate I freaking got, I was like, well, okay, this was okay, but none of it was like really life-changing information. Nobody has ever asked me for a certificate. Nobody has ever asked me where I studied. No one asked. They just liked me and my personality, and they hired me to see if I could help them. I did.
Yes.
This exploded. So I'm going to tell you one more little secret, and then I'll stop for your reaction. So then that really proved to me, talk about like the fight. That really proved to me that virtual styling works. But what all the gurus in the industry were saying, because they started to see Stitch Fix and stuff like that as a threat, they were like, this job can't be done virtual. You have to touch the bodies. You have to touch the fabrics of clothes. And I thought, you know what? I've been doing it for years successfully. No, you don't. I'm smart enough to translate my skills into the online experience. So I hid what I was doing. Well, along comes the pandemic. Everybody's in-person business completely dried up. Of course, mine was quiet for a few months because the whole world was in shock. And I went back to work faster than any stylist I knew because everybody was stuck home with their stuff and I had virtual styling abilities. So then all the naysayers were like, okay, Jaime, I guess you were right. How do you do it? What do you do? How do you translate the experience online? Yeah. So now I have this amazing business where I work with incredible women in person, but I also have virtual services so I can connect with anyone who feels called to me anywhere around the world. I've styled from California to Bali to the UK to back in Philly where I'm from. If I had not had virtual services when I moved here to Florida, I wouldn't have been able to keep all my Philly clients. So there you go. What do you like best about that?
What I love best is for every woman that is listening to this, right? One, hell yeah, high five to you. That is an F yes, you know, like I don't want to drop the F bombs already, like, because then I'll start dropping them. But that is a huge hell yeah to we know our inner knowing. We know that restlessness and gut. And ladies out there, stop. Like, if we could just stop, like, pulling from the external validation, the proof, we already have it inside. You already had that gut and that voice and that knowing. But then I hear this so much from clients too, that we need that certification or the education. And like you, I've been doing my coaching and fitness and life coaching and transformation coaching for more than 26 years. And I think maybe 2 or 3 times people have asked me for my certification. Nobody cares. No. They don't. But yet we somehow, and I'm not too, yes, I think education is important. I think continue going. I know you were at a conference last week. I'm huge on conferences and continuing, right? So I'm not knocking growth, mentorship, conferences, absolutely hands down. Go get your ass in those things and surround yourself with badass people. But we don't need that external proof to validate what we already know. We just need to get out there and do it. We just, whether we fail and flunk and mess up, own it and start again and start again. Yeah. You know, like stay in the fight, like stay in the ring. And you did that because you kept saying, you kept fighting. And it was cool that you went to Stitch for 5 years, you said. Like that's like you went and you built, and that gave you more proof for yourself. It gave you experience, it gave you lessons, it taught you, it gave you testimonies and reviews. And it gave you that leverage to really go, okay, because I went and worked at big box gyms. You have to do that time, right? But you already had that proof inside. So like if ladies are hearing this now and you have a business idea or a dream inside and you already have it in your gut, just go for it. Just jump, push the green light. Yes.
Always. Universe,
I love that.
Those who are taking action. Move. Like I understand that we want to be proud of what we're putting out there. We want to feel like we're competent enough to charge certain rates. And I completely understand. But if you're getting the education because you think it's a permission slip, I hesitate to say you need that, because then as soon as you get that permission slip, you're going to take another certification and then you're going to take another. So there's a difference between letting it be like your barrier to prove your worthiness, or why not just keep, because like you said, I went to this amazing conference. I'm always in the learning. Why wouldn't I be? But it's not something I need to move forward, because the universe is going to favor those who are out there taking the freaking action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was the word need, right? It's you want to go be there, you want to be there to expand and learn and grow and absolutely. So
grow yourself, not to give you permission to finally open your business or finally raise your rates or finally pivot careers.
Yeah, we already hold the permission slip on our life, but it is a fight, because you said there's certain, not only are we battling, and I think that was one of the other things I pulled out of it, we're battling those voices, that inner talk to ourselves. Who am I to do this? Can I do this? I've already spent so much time and money. Like a lot of us are already invested 10 years, 20 years, whether it's a marriage or, and I'm not telling anybody go get a divorce, but some of us are in, I call them, those identity foreclosures, where we've outgrown and outlived, those old lives or old dreams. And like I'm sure your mental health, that counseling and that dream and all of that, that was a career, that was a dream. You outgrew it, you outlived it, and you could have stayed trapped there. Like maybe it's a long shot here, but I believe most people are trapped in a life that they don't want to be in anymore. And it takes some guts to step out and fight for it. And you fought for yours. And now we're going to a new level because you mentioned earlier that we're in a new phase. So I want to talk about this both and, because a lot of times we've been told, now way back in the day, women were like, right, we had to choose home or career. And now there's so much noise out there in the entrepreneur world, right? Or creative land or influencer world, that we have to niche down, or we have to choose that we should only do one thing, that we can't have it all without sacrificing something else. So tell me about where you're at right now with the both and the and perspective, and where you're at with that.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So the both and for me right now is that phase of life where, pardon me, I've been styling for 10 years now, right? Over the years, I would say it's been going on for maybe like 4 years now. Basically, right before the pandemic was when stylists started to catch on to virtual. Anyway, that stylists are kind of like coming into my DMs or messaging me, emailing, whatever, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I started to listen to, okay, maybe they're needing my leadership. There aren't a lot of ways to learn how to be a stylist. There aren't a lot of ways to get into partnership that feels like a same level mentorship. And there's like a benevolent leader, authentic leader in the personal styling space that's like lacking. And I'm like, I want to fill that. And the proof is that they're in my DMs and they're calling and they're emailing. So I started helping, and now it has become, I am mentoring and coaching and consulting with stylists. And you get to this point where because of course I'm in my own coaching, all coaches are in coaching, just like all therapists used to be in therapy training when I was doing that. Anyway, all of this to say, they will say, well, pick one or the other, or else you're having split energies. It's kind of hard. Be a stylist or be the coach to stylists. But I wholeheartedly believe that I'm better at helping them if I'm still also actively styling and coaching clients who want to be styled, because that is not out there. Everybody teaching stylists is teaching a model that they quit in 2019 to pivot into teaching. That's an even statement. Lovely for them. But I believe that stylists need someone who's still in the mix with them. So now I'm like, wait, I can be the both and, because the niche is Jaime. The niche is Robyn. The niche isn't what your delivery is. The brand is you, the niche is you. And I'm both and right now. I can hold both.
Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that you are, I'm a huge believer in still being in the game, walking it with them, being transparent with them, and then you're up to date on everything. That really ties back into what we were just talking about still continuing to up level and choosing to do that, not because we have to or we feel like we need it to prove, to ourselves. But so I'm going to bring it to the next three major questions, which are part of really who I am and what I'm about with my podcast, with my book, The Machete Mentality, is really about my mission of fighting for yourself comes with three core principles, which is to surrender your old self, question your current self. Like, I'm a Law and Order junkie. Everybody knows about Law and Order, but I'm a huge Law and Order junkie. So that questioning your current self is like Benson and Stabler interrogation lights. I mean, it is like a daily thing. So a lot of people don't like that. And that is what I do in my tough love coaching. And then fighting for that future self, which we have shown you are kicking ass and taking names, and you are doing that. So let's touch on those three questions, if that's cool with you. And you can answer them personally. You can talk about like your clients, your business, your personal life, whatever, good, bad, ugly, totally unfiltered. But with surrendering your old self, what did it take for you to move forward even then or now? Like, how do you see your old self like popping up today, where you catch yourself and you're aware like, oh, that's the old me would do that, or you find yourself, being pulled back into that old life or the old mindset or behaviors, old tactics that no longer work, or the safety zone, the comfort zone, things like that. Or maybe you see it out there with your clients or other stylists, or something in the industry, something about surrendering that old identity, the old way of doing things.
Okay, well, okay. One way that ties together both either styling or personally is that I want everyone to understand surrender doesn't necessarily mean loss. It means release so that new can come in. So not only do I know that as like for personal development, but like we can reduce it all the way down to just items of clothing. Taking trash bags of old away from your house isn't loss. It's making room for what's new, what's meant for you. So I love that metaphor. I swear I've been like into metaphors like just forever. I think in metaphors.
I'm going to
But
do a
isn't
happy
that
dance
cool?
for that one. Yes, I love
Taking
it.
away old, stagnant, clothing that doesn't feel like you anymore or where you're going. I love that you're using the word rise. If this doesn't help me rise, I have to surrender it. It doesn't mean loss. It's making room for next level, new, rising, whatever you want to call it. And then I actually want to add, because I really think it's helpful for any kind of listener. Something that I pulled out of, this 10 years in community mental health, most of which was spent in in-home family therapy. So I was highly trained in family systems theory, very specially trained in this method called systemic structural family therapy. It's like, whoa, what's that? It just means helping people recognize patterns and then transform them into something more healthy. And now what that means, surrendering the old self, doesn't just mean surrendering like some of the maybe habits that aren't working for you anymore, or leaving a relationship that's not good anymore, or whatever surrender means to you. Sometimes it's not just what you're currently doing. It's surrendering stories that were never yours to begin with. So what the heck does that mean? It might mean, and this is what it meant for me. This is how we're going to get raw. Okay. Hope I don't cry. It all starts with noticing what you're noticing. We all have to notice our freaking patterns. Some of us are walking around, no offense to people, but some of us are walking around like freaking robots, living by these programs that we don't even know that we adopted from people before us. And then you think the world is like out to get you and it's awful and you're stuck in victim mentality. Like, no more, right? Tough love coaching. Hello. It is. So when I was like ready to level up, I maybe didn't want to go back to social work. I wanted to start my own business. Who am I to start my own business? I didn't have any women examples in my life who started a business. Now, I think entrepreneurship is probably in my blood because of my very hardworking father, who was an auto mechanic his entire life and ran a pretty successful business. So maybe my entrepreneurship blood comes from him. However, there were all these blocks along the way. Like, I can't charge for something I think is really fun, can I? And then it was like, on book to capacity, what do I do? And the coaches are like, raise your rates. I can't raise these rates. Oh my God, like who's going to pay $1,200? Who's going to pay $3,000? Every time I do an up level, I find the evidence that there are women looking for that service. And you might be like, well, what does that have to do with surrendering the old self? I carry stories. What did I learn? Women don't typically earn that much, or women don't. Who are you to go out and start your own business? Who are you? And those are I never needed to carry to begin with. So even when I didn't know I was going to bring personal growth into styling, those 10 years of human behavior that I learned really serve everything that I'm doing today. So like, can you tell I'm not a freaking, like, I'm not going to come over and we do a closet clean out and I was like, buy these jeans, nice knowing you. Okay. We do real work. It's not just the fashion. So are we surrendering parts of our life now that feel old, or are we surrendering stories we adopted from our well-meaning mothers and aunts and grandmothers before us? Let me stop there because I could go on forever.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's great, because that surrender piece is a huge part, but it doesn't mean loss. Like that right there, because when we hear the word surrender, and I like to be bold about it, but when we heard that word surrender, we think give up. We think we don't have control. And, a lot of high performing, ambitious, audacious, we want control of it all. But the more control we have, like the tighter it is, the tighter the rope is, the less oxygen we have to actually breathe. And I've learned through plenty of trial and error and some hardship and adversity that the more that I release the control, actually the more control I have over myself. And, and then you can release it. And I think that's where the mastery and that awareness comes in, where you gain the control by surrendering, but it's not lost. It's making room, for the new. And it really is something as simple as cleaning out the closet, cleaning out the drawers, because your space. And I'm a big believer in how we present ourselves, our energy, how we show up affects everywhere we go. Absolutely everywhere. So I absolutely love that, which brings me to the next one, which is the place where a lot of people don't like to be, because it's the questioning. And I think a lot of people might get caught up in that. Well, do I have to question every day? How long do I have to be in this stage of where I'm constantly pushing myself, and then we get burnt out, we get overwhelmed, or we overcommit, right? Or we're like, what am I doing wrong? And then we beat ourselves up, or I'm never going to get it right. And then those things are playing out in our head. Or, that's not possible or that's good for her. That's good for Jaime. That's good for Robyn, but that's not good for me. That won't work for me. And questioning for me just really means refining. Let's figure out what's working, what's not working. How can we redefine what's possible for us? Almost like a science project on our life of what we, like experimenting rather than failure and F ups, right? That this might work, this might not work. And let me just question and refine until I get it to, because my theme is this is a fairy tale. It exists. We can have what we want without sacrificing ourselves, without putting ourselves last. I grew up, and I'm not going to cry on you, but I grew up in a family where they gave up on their dreams, and they gave up on themselves, and they gave up on their health, their bodies, and their dreams. So I broke out of the system. It was like, I'm going to have my dream. I'm going to have my health, and I'm going to go for it. But I sometimes get caught up in the questioning and the refinement and the tweaking or overthinking or over decision. So let's take a look at that as you are fighting for your future self. How do you handle questioning who you are, where you're at in your business, what your next step is, and making sure that you're doing the things that matter most to you and not allowing, busy things or other people's problems to kind of get onto your plate?
Yes.
How are we questioning where we're at now in life for the future self?
Wow. This is, oh my gosh, there's so much
mouthful,
there.
I know.
So I think what I'll say first is that, because this is reminding me that I teach this to clients too, like I like to get curious. So I like that you're calling it questioning, and it is questioning, but I also like, can we get a little curious about that? Why is it that whatever it is, fill in the blank for what's coming next, or should I make a pivot or whatever? Can I get a little curious about that? Yeah. Where is this coming from? Is the need for an up level in my style? I'm just using that as an example, right? Where is the need coming from? Am I looking to get a promotion at work? Am I looking to be taken more seriously? Am I tired of feeling like crap every day? When I leave the house, I hate what I'm wearing. I don't like being invisible. What can we get a little bit curious about that? Even people who finally do, because it's a very vulnerable act to hire a personal stylist. It really is. It's an act of courage, and it's a vulnerable act. You feel very exposed. So even people who do finally take the leap, and we're going to revamp your style, the old habits come back so much. Like, let's just say every woman looks awesome, but let's say objectively, like a stylist would say, those proportions are perfect. That blouse looks great for her. She needed that blazer. Let's say objectively they look phenomenal, but they're like, they don't get it when they look in the mirror. Let's get curious about that. Why are you saying it doesn't work? Does it really truly not work? Or are you scared of visibility? Are you scared of being seen as looking better? What does looking better mean to you? So like, just getting curious about the feelings that come up for us. And it's not all the negative stuff too. It's some of it's positive too. Like, I'm going to, in this questioning phase of life, I'm going to paint the vision of the future version of myself. And then I'm going to take all actions as if I was already her. So it can be really positive too. Always working backwards from the vision and who you want to be. Because those of us who are still operating from old paradigms that are never questioned, that's usually the culprit for why you feel stuck, why you feel stagnant, why you feel unsatisfied.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you hit that wall. One of your quotes that I noticed on one of your Instagram posts was, "She's stylish because she holds a high vision of herself." I absolutely love that. It goes obviously with the future self theme, but that is so true. I have a couple clients right now that are brand new entrepreneurs. A lot of times I work with they're very new into, because I'm working with women that have like almost like a second chance. They've had some adversity, we've kicked its ass, and they're getting their second chance in life. And they so they're working from home, they're working on a new business, they're starting from the ground up, and they don't feel like they're worth putting on their makeup, doing their hair, getting beyond the yoga pants and the workout clothes. And I'll admit, I play the role of the fitness instructor, right? So I'll get away with it to a certain extent because it is who I am. It's a huge chunk of what I do and who I am. But when I get dressed up, I'm like, hell yeah, like let's go. Like, because I'm a very strong, bold, I know who I am. Like, I have a very high vision of myself. And when I'm trying to teach my clients, that's what they say. I'm not worth it. It's not worth me putting on my makeup and getting dressed up to walk around my house and do my work. But I'm like, but we need to dress the part. We need to look the part. We need to start bringing that future self in. So what do you tell? I'm kind of sideways sneaking some coaching advice from you to tell my clients for their,
Let's do
because it's
it.
beyond doing hair and makeup, right? Like it's beyond doing, like putting on the makeup and doing the hair and getting dressed and walking around your house for a few hours. But there is a
Right.
different energy and aura about you when you are dressed up. So what do we tell that woman that thinks it's just for me, right? It's just for me. It's not worth it. I'm not going on a date. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have a podcast today. I
Yeah.
don't have a job interview. It's just for me. Like, how do we get her to know
My
she's
God,
effing worth it?
no. I feel so strongly about that. Who cares if it's just you that sees you? Why are you saying just you anyway? Can we have a moment for the word just? How many
Yes.
women reach out to me and they're like, is it okay with like, do you work with stay-at-home moms? Like, because I'm just a mom. And I know you work with like executives and you work with these power, because I share amazing like photo shoots I've styled for like major coaches. I've worked with executives, current executives, other badasses who have like built and sold businesses. Women see that and then they go,
Yeah.
will you work with just little old me? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, with the word just. So first of all, nobody is just anything, especially a woman is not just anything. So we start there.
Yes.
No matter what you are, even if it's just you seeing you. Today is a virtual day for me, which is why we have this like schedule together, right? You might not judge me if I didn't put like a red lip on, which is my favorite thing to do, and put a fabulous necklace on. Like,
yes.
You're a kind person. You would still like be like whatever when we get on, but it's not just for you. It's an energy state. So that's what I tell clients. We're selecting an energy state on purpose. So you're in fitness, right? I'm sure you've told clients in the past where to get on a health journey or even to just get up and go to the gym. You don't find motivation for anything. You have to create it. So getting dressed is creating a certain energy state. If you're someone who loves lounge clothes and that's exactly where you want to stay all the time, you can get styled in lounge clothes to generate a certain energy state. That's what it's all about. Or it can be the woman who needs a killer outfit for speaking on stage, or the woman who needs to revamp her executive wardrobe. It's for anybody dressing for anything, but it comes down to knowing that you're creating a certain energy state. You know, how many women say to me, I think I'm just sick of like, and this is where the quote comes from. Why am I saying she? Why am I saying she's stylish? Because she holds it. It comes from conversations with my clients who are like, I don't understand how all my friends are nailing their style and it looks super cute and I can't figure it out. I don't understand how the lady at my office does it. It must be because she makes more money than me. So they have all these reasons. It must be because she's thinner than me. It must be because she has no, it is literally one thing. And it's because she chose a certain standard for herself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hands down. It's all a choice. You choose your choice. It's a choice every day. And that's part of the fight. That is the daily fight right there. Right there. You just hit it. Yay. You did. Gold star, Jaime, right there. That is the daily fight. It is, they hear the daily fight. Like life doesn't have to be a fight, but it is. There's parts of it where it's a fight. You have to fight for the things that it's a choice, and that's where it goes back to you are fighting. It's a fight to sit on the couch and scroll on your phone and be sucked into shouldville and guilt and shame and self-judgment and obligation. Or it is a fight to get your butt up and fight for what you want. And it's I'll go on another little bit right there, but let's not.
Scroll. We all do scrolling, right? Hello, I do it all the time. We all look schleppy sometimes. I'm a professional and I look schleppy sometimes. But guess what? What you just made me realize is like, are you fighting for complacency or are you fighting for something better? Yes, it is always a fight. It's always a choice. Yes. Are you fighting for nothing? Are you fighting to stay the same?
Yes. Yeah. There was a great quote I heard yesterday. I think it was Susie Moore, and she was actually quoting RuPaul. I don't know if you heard it, but it was like that negativity is so lazy. And I was like, that's brilliant because it takes more work to be positive. It takes more work because even that, who am I to do this? I've already, all of that chatter that we have, like I got to put on hair and makeup. I have to get dressed. I have to do this. Like it's easier to be lazy. It's easier to be complacent. It's easier to make the choice to do nothing, to not try, to not fight, to not go into the business, to stay where you're at. And so this really is the fight for you to choose you. So with that being said, I've got one more doozy of a question for you, and then we're going to do some fun rapid fire to get to know Jaime, and we'll wrap this up. So hang with us, guys. But this has been pretty hot. So I know for the ladies listening to this right now, you guys are getting some good nuggets. Okay, so this is the fight. This is like what keeps you from throwing in the towel? What keeps you from going, F it, I'm done. Like I'm done. Like on those days, because we all have the days where we want to quit. Like we don't quit in the pit. Like, and we all have the I'm relentless. I got dog in me. Every entrepreneur's got dog in them. Everybody's got some fight because we're in the 1% club of crazy people because this is not normal. And like we all have that, but like, and we've all beyond the kids and the husband and the lifestyle and the time freedom and the money and all the things that we all want the same things in life. But what keeps you, Jaime, the little girl inside, the fighter inside, the badass inside, the future self inside, the 80-year-old inside, the 5-year-old right inside, the old self that screwed up so many times and messed up, the little 16-year-old, 18-year-old teenager that messed up, right? All those identities that are you now, because I believe that we operate out of all those identities and we need to know who's in the driver's seat at any given time. On the day where you are just like, I can't. What keeps you? How do you maintain your power and your peace? What keeps you from giving in and throwing in the towel and keeps you in the fight?
Well, there's a couple things. The second one is the more important one. So the first one's quick. Let me say that my children, my boys, my boys are 15 and 16 now. They've been paying attention to mom running her own business for a really long time, but they're paying attention now more than ever. So now I think like they're very interested and they're always talking about my business. They're always like saying these really cool things. Do I want them to see me give up? Shoot, no, I don't think so. I don't think I want them to remember, it got hard and mom stopped her business, right? Like these are like major developmental years for them. So that's an easy one. The deeper second one is I have this bank and I'm not your, I missed that type A gene where like there's documents and lists everywhere and very neat. The bank is in my head, but I have this bank. I have this, it's a badass list. Okay. And it's all the things that women have said to me over the years, such as you changed my life.
My life.
You made me feel freaking beautiful again.
I love that.
I haven't felt this hot in ages. Do you know how many women still don't think they're allowed to look in the mirror and go, whoa, you just made me look hot? Because we're all kind of from the generation, even if we're not the same exact age, we all are close enough to know you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to be like, damn, I look good. You're not. So anyway, it's that whole bank. Like if I were to give up at any moment that I was going to throw in the towel or felt it was too hard, it would usually be like I would sleep on it. And then the next day I was like, oh my God, of course I don't want to give up. What's the alternative? And then you can try. You can try if you want and get proof from the universe. In the early days when it was like, oh, I'm not really sure how to like run this and find clients. And I was doing it very messy action in the very beginning. I actually did take on a part-time job so that I could do both at this beautiful, beautiful Montessori school where my kids were going when they were like 2 and 3 anyway. Right. And so like, I loved it, but I was like, oh my God, this was so wrong. No. This wasn't what I was supposed to do. So I made myself finish a year there. I loved the children. It was my background. I love children. But I was like, oh, no.
No. Yeah.
Was giving up. It wasn't giving up. It was just something a little extra I wanted to do for my business to go off more. But if you take that as an example of like, oh, okay, go ahead. You can maybe try and give up and you're probably going to freaking regret it. So imagine what's it going to be like if I close up shop and quit.
Yeah.
I'm going to disappoint a lot of people. And I don't mean disappoint like best friend that I told about my business or mom or husband. I mean, disappoint the women that are waiting to be helped by me that don't even know me yet. I'm disappointing them.
Yeah.
That helps.
I love that. Yeah. That brought tears to my eyes. I don't know if you saw it in the beginning when you first started about your bank. That brought tears. That makes me so happy for you. That's a great answer. I have a gratitude folder of notes and things that I've collected over the year. And when I have bad days, I go back and I read those and I look at those things and they remind me. But I love that you have that because it's and then we own it, that we own that we can feel that way and we're allowed to like the way we look and feel the way in our body and in our skin. And that's one of my things is that I want to make sure that the inside and the outside matches, that our body and our health. I think it's our job and our duty to make sure that it matches our inside and our outside worlds, that they align, that because we believe it in our head. And then if we're thinking that just like you were talking about earlier, doesn't match up, because there's a lot of women walking out there with banging bodies and they look good, but their inside world doesn't match that banging body and and they're miserable on the inside. So we need to make sure that everything is lining up. So I love that you share that with me. So okay, I got some rapid fire questions. These are just fun, this or that, okay? And then we'll wrap it up. But this is I've got a little cheat sheet for it, but this is just a this or that, and we're gonna go quick. Don't overthink it. Okay. And then I'll decide if I really like you based on how you answer these questions. I'm totally teasing. Totally teasing, because there's only one right or wrong. There's only one right answer here. But all right. So you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, totally fun. This has nothing, guys, to do with the daily fight or business or anything. This is just, I think you get to know a lot about people when you know their choices behind the scenes. So, all right, Jaime, here we go. Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
You're like, I'm not sure. Both? Can I have both? Cocktail? I don't know. I didn't have cocktail on there.
Right.
Go out or stay in?
Go out.
Yeah, you definitely are a go out person. You can't stay home with all of that fashion. Okay. Pillows on the bed or none at all?
Oh, lots of pillows on the bed.
I knew you were going to say lots of pillows on the bed. Okay. Cold or hot?
Hot. I live in Florida for a reason.
Okay. Messy or neat?
I'm messy.
You're messy. I'm messy too. I'm messy too. My husband, is your husband neat? My husband's neat. Oh my God, he's so neat. He goes behind me. It drives him nuts, right? Do you have corners in your house where you're allowed to be messy? Like, is your space allowed to be messy? But
in our old house, we used to have a spot that was like, just put Jaime's mess over there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that might be like a creative type thing. Like, but do you know in your mess where everything is?
Always. I had a partner. Here's a little caveat, but it's when the program I was in when I did in-home family therapy. Oh my God, I'm going to send her straight to this podcast. You worked in partnerships. Okay. She told me Jaime's desk is just like, it's crazy. But the second you ask for something, it takes a second. She knows exactly where it is.
Exactly where it is. Yep, exactly where it is. All right, cook at home or take out?
Take out.
Take out. Dressed up or casual?
Dressed up.
But wait, you're always in jeans. Like, not always, I shouldn't say jeans, but you got some badass jeans, woman. You got some
Elevated
kick-ass jeans.
casual is my jam. I feel
Okay.
so good in a pair of jeans, but then the rest is going to be all zhuzhed up. Heels, jewelry, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, I'm not stalking you or anything, but like, you're in my feed. Okay. Spontaneous road trip or planned vacation?
Spontaneous road trip.
All right. City life or country?
City life.
Yeah, you're a city girl. Early riser or night owl?
Night owl.
Night owl. Okay, okay. So you up at night scrolling, aren't you? Yeah, you're
No,
up at night.
I'm up all night with the creativity. Yep.
Phone call or text?
Text.
Road trip music, rock or pop?
Rock.
Or neither? Rock. All right, yeah. We're from the same generation, so yeah, it's definitely rock. Sneakers or sandals? I should probably put stilettos on here for you, but
oh my God. See here, my brain is like, well, what kind of sandals? What kind of sneakers? Sneakers. I love funky sneakers. So
sneakers. Okay. All right. Thrill ride or beach chair? We're going to the amusement park or the beach?
Beach. Beach chair.
Beach. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
All right. Read a book or watch a movie?
Read a book.
Read a book. Yes. Window seat or aisle?
Window.
Window. Dance floor or people watching? I already know the answer.
Dance floor.
Of course. All right. Game night or movie marathon?
Game night.
Game night. Awesome. Yeah, especially with the kids. Well, I don't know. Mine are about your kids' age too. So that teenage, they're kind of in the
game with me right now.
But but it was a few years ago. Yeah. So awesome. Well, before we go, is there anything that we missed? Is there a final thought or a message or anything from this podcast that you would like to share with the audience as we wrap it up? For the woman out there that is, either whether it's for the stylist or for the woman out there that's hungry for a change, that wants to take care of herself, or anything that you want to mention that we left out, the floor is yours.
Yeah, you're worthy and you can. You're worthy and you can. You're worthy and you can. Do you want to up-level your style? Do you want to become a personal stylist? Do you want to up-level your styling business? Do you want a health coaching business? Whoever is listening, whatever lasting question you have in your mind, the thing you're asking yourself every day, the answer is probably you're worthy and you can.
You're worthy and you can. Again, you have lit me up with goosebumps all for the past hour or so. Not many people can do that. I'm a hard ass, and you have just lit me up with everything.
You're a good host.
Thank you. This is not my thing, but I have enjoyed this. You are phenomenal. I have loved having you here and getting to know more about you. You have given such great, just you're way beyond a stylist. I mean, you give so much more.
So happy that you can tell. Thank you.
Yeah, this is not about ladies. Like, this is not about like just dress me up and make me feel good on date night or for the CEO boardroom so I'm a badass and they give me more money or I look good at the photo shoot. Listen, I'm a hot mess at my photo shoots too, so I really need help with that. But like really a transformational experience from the inside out to match, the way that you look and present yourself, but to your emotions and your feelings and your personality and your energy, because I'm very bold and like, I know I shouldn't say like I'm bold and badass, but I'm bold and badass and I carry that energy. But when I go to the photo shoot, I don't feel bold and badass because I'm not really sure how to embody that in the clothes I'm wearing because I don't know how to connect the two. When talking to you today, I feel like you know how to connect those pieces. And when you're with your clients, I have this very sneaky feeling that you talk to them and you coach them on how to connect these pieces and bring it out. So I know my experience with you is going to be more than just here, let's buy this, spend this money, go to the store, shop here, purge this, get rid of this. wear this, but it's going to be a Robyn. We're going to bring out this badass in you, this warrior, this fighter that's helping these women rise into their future self. And you're going to own the photo shoot. You're going to own the stage as a speaker. You're going to own the writer in you and the author in you. And I'm going to help you do that. Like, you bring that out like in your unique way.
I didn't know that that was a gift until I started moving along, but that's a gift that I have. It again, hello, if you don't take action, you don't end up learning these things about yourself. So I took action before I thought I was ready and started my business. But anyway, it became rapidly clear that I can help people tell a story through their clothes and they don't know how to tell that story themselves. So it gets very like, it's creative, it's mystical. I didn't know it was a gift until I started doing a lot of photo shoots or helping women, like even if there's no photo shoot involved, it's like understanding that there's this image and vibe that I want to portray through my outfits. Well, how the heck do I do that? And I played small thinking, oh, whatever I know, everybody else must already know, right? No. That happens in business where you think you're teaching something that's like so elementary and they're like, no, you changed my life with that knowledge. So I can do that. I can get in a conversation with a woman. She tells me what's her business about or what is her life like. We're headed to this photo shoot. Here's what I want to convey. And then it's like, oh my God, I have no idea what to do. And I can translate your esoteric ideas into outfits. Listen, this is going to blow your mind. Okay. I styled a very like well-educated, well-versed, Harvard trained epidemiologist. She's like this kick-ass traditional doctor that switched into, like concierge doctoring and like alternative healthcare and natural and all these kinds of amazing things. And because I'm saying it on the fly, I'm probably saying it the wrong way.
That's okay. That's okay.
All of her photo shoots in the past were like sitting at a desk and a little white lab coat with like a blue shirt underneath. Okay, fine. You're going to die. One of her photo shoots, I had her, this is like, what? Doctors do this? It was this really creative photo shoot that was taking place outside in nature. And I had her wear a deep V tight bodysuit tucked into like this big ass tutu. And the photographer had her like running and like we were freaking crying at the result. Like, what? That's not what you do for a doctor, is it? But like, it's because her brand was breaking free, uncaging from traditional like ways that you're supposed to help people with their health. Like it was just like, why would we put her in a freaking white lab coat? That doesn't convey the message at all. And this is okay. This works, everyday woman not doing a photo shoot too, because guess what? You won't convince me that loads of women moving through the world loving the way they look in their clothes is a bad thing. That's only ever a good thing. It's not frivolous. You can be well educated and care more about helping people and care about your style at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely love that. I absolutely love it. Jaime, I'm going to make sure that everybody's got you in the show notes so that they know where to go and follow you. And I know in the beginning, but one more time, let's go ahead and drop it right here. Where can they find you, your website, if it's Instagram, wherever they can go get information on you?
Instagram's my jam, so please just come be friends there. I'll spell my name because there's lots of A's and I's, but if you follow Robyn, you'll find me. JAIMEDIEHL Style. Jaime Diehl Style. The real deal.
Yes, absolutely. Jaime, it's been absolutely phenomenal. You've lit me up. You are the highlight of my day. Thank you so much for sharing time with me today and your story on the daily fight. And guys, go ahead and drop some comments, like, share this. You know what to do, and make sure you are fighting for your future self. Peace out.